uh, a tombstone, for a gravesite memorial. There was families that we spoke to. It had been over 5 years since their loved one was homicide, and they spent time having to gather funds, collect donations for the services. They just didn't feel comfortable asking for additional donations, for a headstone. So there was that was purchased, a PG&E bill, people that were overcoming injuries from assaults that were in the hospital and behind on PG&E bills, behind on car payments, and wanting to show up to work, but afraid that the vehicle would get repossessed because the loan company had that address. We paid for that. We paid for many things, such as groceries, that fell underneath the category of basic human needs for living, meaning these things would put families in crisis if they didn't have them, such as food. Without PG&E, you run the risk of other reports. And so when we looked at that, we thought, look at this need. And we know that right now there's been the VOCA fix, there's been American Rescue Dollars, there's CalVIP. We're working with organizations where the director, the founder is also the HR, is also the outreach person, is also the fundraiser, is everything all in one. And so we are survivors, look to elevate those stories. And we're asking elected officials, and we are asking the funding sources to keep these organizations in mind, because these are the people doing the work. We know that we have those stories on film. We watch them do it and say, I don't need my salary. I just want to help that family over there. That one over here, none of the family traveled in for the service. Nobody has anything to wear. And, there's 6 pallbearers and they all want to wear the same color shirt. Can you just, use it to cover that? I'll go without. It does, make me want to cry. It's difficult to do public presentations on these stories that were observed and not have, that emotional side. But in order to make it impactful, in order to make a difference, we have to tell our stories over and over again. And that's what I came here for. To not only support Heather, but to also make sure that we continue this effort to elevate these stories, and also share with you that we're still fighting for equity and crisis response. We're talking to families that all tell me the same thing. My case is not closed. I've been trying to get a hold of Crime Stoppers. They won't share my story. The rewards are not there for these families. If anyone has any tips, they don't have any of that. They're talking to us about, no one told me that I can apply for victim compensation. We're closing those gaps and trying to get them connected to more organizations, and also trying to make sure that they're not operating in a crisis when they're serving these families. And you can help do that by maximizing that support. I want to make sure I turn the microphone over to a few that wanted to share this morning. In an effort to be timely, we want to give space to the survivors of loved ones that showed up this Saturday morning here at the state capitol in California to share your stories. I want to turn it over first, right before we go there, to our chapter coordinator, who invited the families out here this morning and those participating virtually. When I share with you that it was quite a task to get the Sacramento chapter reignited and functioning again, I mean that as an understatement. Thank you, Heather, for all of your work. Thank you for bringing together the voices in Sacramento, and join me in welcoming Heather Jenkins.
Thank you. Thanks everybody for coming out. I appreciate it. Thanks for everybody being online. and supporting. Um, as you heard, my name is Heather Jeter. I am the the coordinator for the Sacramento chapter of Crime Survivors for Safety and Justice. So happy today to be working with I Am SAC to just bring a face to some of the things that we as survivors um, deal with every day. There is a great need in our area for us to get together, put our efforts together, get feet on the ground so that we can make sure that our voices are heard as folks are making decisions for us and about us, things that are going to be affecting our communities. So the reason that I am here and I am fired up and I'm passionate about this is I lost my own son. He was killed in December of 2017, right in his own neighborhood. He wasn't doing anything wrong. It was a robbery attempt. This was a place that is a known crime area. It's been that for many years since I was a child. With that in mind, why have there not been any changes? Why do we have to continue to see our kids killed? Why do we have to continue to be hurt like this? Why is there so little value placed on their lives? So I'm here today to say that they're worth everything, and I'm going to be loud, and I'm going to bring everybody with me, and we're all going to be loud together because we're going to do the things that we need to do to make sure that our community is impacted in a positive way, that this cycle stops, and that we stop being hurt like this. The way that we do that is we have to be participants in our healing. We have to get out in the streets and make sure that our voices are heard. We can't be silent anymore. And so that is what this is all about. There's only one thing I can do with the rage and the sad and the hurt that I feel, and that is to get out in the streets, empower myself, keep my son's face out there, keep my son's name alive through my efforts, and to hopefully help and impact and make sure that this doesn't continue to happen to people. No one wants to hurt like this. This doesn't go away. It doesn't get better. It gets different, and then it gets familiar again. It never goes away. So with all of that said, we have a few other mothers here that would like to speak. We have someone who potentially has the power to impact some of the things I said in an elected official capacity. So I want to go ahead and give the mic over to some of our mothers. Let's start there. Okay, let's hear what the mothers have to say and just give them our support today. Thank you all so much.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Shawnee Melinda Drake. I'm a native here in Sacramento, and I'm standing in solidarity with you all as a survivor. And as myself, I am also a survivor. It brings me the feeling of such atrocities that are going against our communities right now, that we need to make sure that we are able to speak as people, as civilians, and to continue elevating this passionate survival. This is what we're doing every day. It is terms of survival. So I'll just give you guys a quick backstory of who I am. My name is Shawnee Melinda Drake. I'm a native here in Sacramento, California. I'm also known as an educator, teaching children with autism in a compassionate, valuable, dignity, and humanitarian way. I participate in a lot of different events with the I Am SAC Foundation. I also am a sibling of the slain. My brother was shot and killed by the Sacramento County Sheriff's Department. But not only as of last August, as a community and humanitarian, my family was featured in Insider Sacramento magazine for the Farm to Fork article. And as of this August of 2021, I'm here to tell you my story today, that as of last month, July 17th, I have been a victim of a violent crime. It has come to the terms of use of firearm, along with assault and battery. And due not to only these allegations, but this is a true story of my own testimony. And I will not be silenced because our communities are failing. We have all of this allocation of distributions to be placed in these type of foundations. where survivors will speak and to tell their minds and to tell their stories. And with that being said, it brings me peace knowing that there is a community of likelihood that this will happen again. Such atrocities in our community are ever bearing since COVID and the pandemic. It's an increasing to where we are as people. We need to get a hold of our own communities and make sure that not only us as people together, we can fight to help make our communities, of course, better. But at the same time, we want to make sure that the allocation of these funds are guaranteeing these organizations are standing uphill, especially during under such, the atrocious times at this moment. My crime happens to do not only with violence within the community, but this such atrocity is also due to cyber laws. This is a term of rejection violence. Unfortunately, social media right now is being mainstreamed to the approval of people with the likes and clicks of a love button. But at the same time, there's that difference between love and hate. And when it comes down to rejection violence, you're seeing it more than ever, especially within social media terms. And such sadness, of course. I respect the suspects. I respect myself as a victim, but I am no victim. I am a survivor. I'm still healing under certain bruises, of course, concealer and a smile. I truly am. And I never have thought that this would be here at the Capitol today to talk about not only my story, but the other survivors that are with us. The implications today are just developing, and as a sense of judgment to become, I will not disclose any of the information of my own case at this moment, but I am willingly able to tell my story. I feel that our justice systems are failing us according to how we are in poverty within health and organization. I myself am a health and fitness coach, and Herbalife health and fitness coach. I contribute to my communities. I contribute in my own community. And just the sadness alone is, of course, unbearable. But at the same time, I am a representative of my own city, my own state, and I need to make sure that I am there for my people, especially people who are our age, who are not able to speak about these atrocities. And not only that, but to have to defend themselves in their communities by being silent, by not being able to say the things that they need to do because they will be labeled. These things should not be happening for us to even have that label of being one to tell. How can we prevent these things from happening? We can prevent them, number one, by supporting organizations such as this one here, Victims of Violent Crimes, the I Am SAC Foundation, and being able to support your own community like I have. I do community barbecues. We're always doing block parties. And I would never imagine these two younger suspects, ages 17 to 21, grouping of 5, to demonstrate that type of violence towards me. But like I said, I am here standing with a smile and of course fabricated makeup to cover up these atrocities, like I had said. It is just unbelievable what had happened to me. But I'm here to tell you all that you have a voice and it's very powerful. And your voice must be heard today. I thank you. My name is Shawnee Melinda Drake. You can also find me on social media, which I have not become a private account because I will always remain a public figure. It is spelled SHANIMELINDADRAKE. My social media account is at Saucy, SAUCY _ sophistication. I thank you. Shawnee Melinda Drake.
Hi, my name is Jenny Guerrero Redmond. I am the mother of Soraya Jade Redmond, and I am a yayo. My daughter Soraya was 19 years old when she was murdered on September 25th, 2020 at the Creek Apartments in Natomas. And No one has been apprehended for her death, and it's coming close to a year. So every day is getting harder and harder to get out of bed, to be able to function. I am her voice. I have to fight for her because the people that have done this did not care. They still do not care, and my fear is that they're going to turn around and hurt somebody else. It could be your child. And I wouldn't want anyone to feel this pain, because this pain every day gets deeper and deeper. It's like it tears me apart every second of the day. And so for me, as a people, as a community, we failed because we have youngsters in the neighborhood, in the community, that think that they can just go around, bully, pull out a gun, shoot a gun, and not really aiming at a particular person, but shoot into a building and not care who they hurt. That's what happened to my daughter. She was visiting a friend's apartment. She was inside watching a movie when gunshots were fired into the apartment she was at, and my daughter was struck and she was killed. And as a mom, I felt like I failed because, one, I was not there to protect her, and I'm not able to get the people that have done this to her. So now, if these kids now had the structure we had growing up, where we had elders that we respected in our neighborhood and we would listen to them, things would be different. Kids now, they don't respect their elders. Elders, a lot of them are afraid to say anything because then there's consequences, there's actions they got to deal with the kids' parents. Why are you checking my child? I'm checking your child because your child is out of line, So we need to bring that back. We need to take back our community and let these young kids know we're not going to have you disrespect anybody and everybody in this neighborhood. We're supposed to be a family, a village, to teach and bring you up, not fail you, not fail your friends, not fail anybody, because a lot of these kids that were in the apartment where my daughter's at have failed her. They're not speaking, or they're too afraid to speak because of the consequences of what might happen to them from those people that did it and their family members. And that's wrong, So as a mom, it took help. I didn't know what to do. I did not know how to approach it. And with the help of Sequette Clark and the Clark family, I was able to find my way and fight and be her voice so she's not forgotten, so her case doesn't become cold, because there's no way, as long as I'm living, I'm going to let my daughter's case become a cold case. I don't care if they come after me, if they say, okay, now you're getting too close to where I lay my head. Well, guess what? You got too close to where my daughter was laying her head when you took her life. So I'm going to come into your neighborhood and every neighborhood. I'm grateful for the people that put her name out and her flyers out in Fairfield, Vallejo, Oakland, Seattle. I have family members in Guam that are sharing her face, all over, not just Sacramento, not just California. I want everybody to know who Soraya Jade Redmond was. She was 19 years old. She didn't run the streets. She was not in a gang. She was just a 19-year-old beginning her life, getting ready to go to cosmetology school, which she should have started just January. She bought her very first car with the help of her dad. She was just starting her life. And then these youngsters took her life and they didn't care, but now they want to hide. You weren't so bad when you took that gun and put that gun in your hand and started shooting bullets into an apartment, not caring who you're going to hurt. So what happened to my daughter, I don't want to happen to your child, So as a mom, we need to take back our community. We need to let the parents know, the grandparents know. We need to, again, bring back what we had many years ago. Bring the village back. Let these kids know, if you're out of line, I'm going to come and check you. And if your parents have a problem with it, then your parents are wrong, because then they're failing you as a parent. You know, we need to teach these kids and let these kids be knowledgeable of what happens if you put a gun in your hand, what happens when you start shooting, what happens when you hurt somebody, you know, not just with the gun, with anything, any type of violence where it's physical. You know, you don't hurt anybody and think you can get away with it and think it's right and then think you can hide. You know, that's where we all fail, you know, and as a parent, you know, we teach our kids young, right from wrong, yes or no. And when we get to that point where we allow our kid to start to disrespect us, because then they feel, well, you know what, if you try to discipline me this way, I can make one phone call. Well, you know what, go ahead and make that phone call. Go ahead, because you know what, you're not going to disrespect me, and I'm providing for you. I have to provide food for you. I provide a place for you to lay your head, and I put clothes on your back. You want to call because you're disrespecting me, your parent? Well, guess what? They can come and get you, and they're going to take you without the clothes and without the shoes that I provide for you. Take back our community. Don't let what happened to my daughter happen to your child. Thank you.
Just one moment as we get the next speaker up and ready. I'd like to go ahead and hand off now. This is the long anticipated Mama Clark.
Hi, everyone. Hello, everyone. Thank you all for coming out, for showing your support in the physical. It does matter. It is duly noted. So from my heart, thank you. Thank you to Crime Survivors for Safety and Justice for this idea. Thank you for allowing us a platform. Excuse me. It's real, you know.
That's right.
Okay, can you guys hear me now? All right, so thank you to Crime Survivors for Safety and Justice for the idea of this forum, of this platform, of this day. I am Mama Clark. I'm the mother of Stephon Clark. He was brutally murdered by Sacramento Police Department March 18th, 2018 in his grandmother's backyard while only holding a cell phone. Since that night, his 7-year-old sister was there. She's now 10. She's attempting to heal. My mother, who's in the audience, thank you for coming, Mommy. She went outside in the backyard and seen her grandson laying dead, murdered by the police, and still lives in that house. She's still attempting to heal from that traumatic event. Myself, having to bury another son, another child, I'm still healing from that traumatic event. Let's talk about Stephon's other siblings. What about his cousins? What about his aunties and his uncles? What about his friends who are all still dealing with unaddressed traumatic response from that event? You know, we have to stop normalizing these traumatic events that happen so frequently in our underserved, at-risk communities. That's what I Am SAC Foundation is here to do. We are here to bridge the gap between community and communities and law enforcement, because until we bridge that gap, we're going to see the same thing. Two, we're here to inform and educate. We're here to inform and educate our communities on legislations and laws, like the Stephon Clark Law, AB 392, which did not get to bring Stephon justice, but in a sense it has, because there are 3 officers right now in California being charged with second-degree murder and manslaughter for the murders of unarmed citizens. And it would not happen had it not been for Stephon Clark Law. So That's what we do. We inform and educate. 3, we provide healing spaces, safe spaces, recreational spaces for those in our underserved at-risk communities. We have Stefan's House, which is a library, resource center, and museum to commemorate the life and legacy of Stefan Clark in a positive light. We also have our Yayo's Life Healing with Mama Clark broadcast that goes on once a week. And it is a forum, a space for mothers who have experienced the loss of a child, hence the term Yayo, to address and process the cycles of grief in a safe space with others who can relate to our unique style of grieving, our unique grief. And so, 4, we commemorate the life and legacy of Stefan Clark in a positive light. 5, we receive recommendations from you, the people, on how to prevent from what happened to Stefan from ever happening again. And last but not least, number 6, we spread the love. We spread the love. Everybody must love everybody because we can only truly conquer hate with love. And so, the second thing the third thing I want to address is the allocations of resources. This is what this is about, right? We need the allocations of the resources set aside for survivors to include families that were impacted by police violence, as well as unsolved community violence. It should include those taboo cases that they don't want to, So, our family, the police are the suspects. The police were the murderers, and so we didn't receive any help from the city. My grandsons received a settlement case, because they're his kids and they deserve that. However, I'm his mother, right? And my son was taken from me. And so I shouldn't have to worry about paying my phone bill versus my therapy bill or, after school programs for my daughter who needs to be a kid instead of reliving flashing lights. She cannot be, if we're watching television, she can't watch continuous flashing lights. My mother neither, because it reminds them of the day Stefan was killed. There are things that we need to address that people are afraid to talk about out loud. There are things that we need to address, that we're afraid to address. And so it is up to us to denormalize these traumatic events, as well as make sure that the resources are allocated appropriately to include us. And so that I was told today that there's a legislation, AB 710, am I correct, that will help us do that. So I'm going to look more into it. I don't want to tell everyone about something I really don't know about, but if there's a law about it, that means we have the power to get it done. That means that all we have to do is show up and vote for it and say we want it. And it's done and it's ours. And so we need to realize that we have that power to vote. We do make a difference. Just one person can make a difference. Literally, one person can make a difference. And so I want to encourage you all to grow, to learn, and to heal. I want to encourage you all to use your vote. I want to encourage you all to stand up and speak out. Thank you for hearing me. I'm Mama Clark.
All right, as we move along in our program, we also have another speaker here that I think is going to be interesting and one you ought to keep your ears and eyes on, okay? We have a DA race coming up in Sacramento, as you all know, and if you don't know, you will want to know this. If you're not aware of the political environment and how it is impacting our ability to be heard, to get business done, that's going to impact our communities positively, I'm here to tell you, okay? Also be watching the state races for the Attorney General's office because it's going to be impactful there too. So let's hear from Miss Alana Matthews, one of our candidates for the Sacramento District Attorney's.
Thank you to all the mothers and family members. You have my support. I'm a mother. I'm a daughter. I'm a survivor. I've had a family member murdered as well. And I just want you to know that I don't understand exactly what you're going through, but I support you. I know what it feels like to hurt. And one of the reasons that I'm running for Sacramento County DA is because we need to change the narrative. We need a survivor-centered approach. Everyone talks about victims and how there's a need to protect victims, but we have to ask the next question of what does that mean? And for me, that means 4 basic things: survivor voice, survivor choice, transparency, and preventive services. And I think everything that you all said, I think everything you said touched on that. So survivor choice means harm is caused in lots of different ways, and the people's responses to it is different. And so whether someone wants to be cooperative with the criminal legal system or not, they deserve services, because it's not just about convictions, it's about healing. And that's why survivor voice is important. How you experience harm and how you want to heal from that, your voice should be elevated and it should be heard. And we have to expand the narrative of who it is and how it is we want to serve those most impacted by harm. We also need more transparency, and we need to expand services so that we can partner with community groups who are doing the work and are being supportive to make sure that we focus first on healing. And any interaction that you have with the criminal legal system should be another step on that journey. I don't want to take a lot of time because this is about survivors, and I want to give space and voice to your story. But I want you to say that it is time for change. And I want to partner with you in being a part of that change and being a part of that healing. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Alana. We appreciate you coming out. We appreciate your solidarity with us. We really do. We hope that if you are able to get in there and make some change, that we can continue to be partners with you in making that change. It's imperative. It's imperative. We have to save ourselves, and this is the only way, because they're not saving us. So, all right, that'll be enough of that. Let me stop it, because I could do this all day. The next thing that we've got on schedule is to go ahead and take a look at the movie. You heard from Tina a lot about what this movie is about. It's really celebrating the survivors who are out there, feet on the ground with their organizations, without their organizations, trying to do what they can to fill in the gaps. Mama Clark spoke on it a bit. Folks don't understand. We still are in the process of trying to make the public understand what a victim is and what a victim survivor looks like. I know that before I came into this through my son's death, I didn't realize that I was a victim, hence a survivor of so many things as I had grown up. I didn't even realize it. We've made ourselves overly undersensitized, I guess, to that kind of a thing. And so I think it starts with taking a really deep look at, number one, what's happened to me in my life and how has that affected me? And am I living a trauma through that? Because probably you are. I would tell you, if you're any kind of brown, you are. Look at that, because that's where the healing starts. And until you recognize that piece, you're not living in your truth. You're not living in your truth. So anyway, this movie is going to show you how survivors are down there in the ground, filling in the gaps for everybody. The folks that they don't recognize as victims are recognized as victims, because we are humans and humanity counts. So please enjoy the film. And if you're unable to see it, it is available on several different platforms, YouTube and some other places. It is on StreamYard now. It will be, I guess, on my live now. So let's get to the business.
So as we move over to share the film, I will tell you that because of the wind and other sound, being able to be in an open space and travel, it'll be difficult. But as Heather shared with you, we do have it on YouTube. We will share that with you. Those of you that are already tuning in virtually, we have all of your information. We can send it directly to you, or you're welcome to reach out to Heather for a watch party, I strongly recommend that, even if it's a virtual watch party at your next chapter meeting. What I do want to recommend too is that since it is going to be difficult to watch, and I know some of you have other commitments this Saturday, I do encourage you to continue this connection. Continue to lean on Heather, because one of the questions that we get often is, come every April and CSSJ, we do the largest conference of crime survivors out here in Sacramento. And everybody sees it virtually, and then we'll get the text messages and the social media messages. Well, how do I get connected, and how do I get to go to that? For Sacramento, for this area, you're going to want to connect with Heather. That's how you would get involved, and how you would stay informed about detailed information on that, as well as other events that we have coming up. We have 8 chapters in California. We have no intentions of slowing down. We might have to switch the how we interact, but we have no intentions of stopping. In addition to that, as this film is going in, I also want to encourage you that this is not a photo op. This is not an opportunity for people to just come together and hang out and then we're done. We share each other's pain. We carry each other's stories and experiences in our hearts. You all know what comes with that when there's a birthday. Holidays don't stay the same. They don't after you lose a loved one. And so I encourage you to continue to cry together, to laugh together, to pray together, to hold hands together and hold each other up. And we are happy to start that now if this becomes difficult to see, because we will be hosting that watch party at your next chapter meeting. Thank you. For decades, the way that safety has been defined has been around systems. That's how we create safety, right? But community has been left out of it. Victims and families are forced to grieve while navigating a bunch of agencies and systems that are supposed to help them, but end up creating more trauma and victimization in the process. We're launching this campaign and building a movement to put survivors at the center of public safety. So where we are right now is Mendel Plaza, and this is where my brother Mitchell died on January 1st, 2017. He was shot and killed right here with his car is parked. I really believe that's because he didn't get the help that he needed. He could have used access to programs that were really going to help him, or helping him in a way that he felt like he needed help. No matter where I go in the state, I find people that have stories just like mine and my family. Yeah, I'll leave. Yeah, unfortunately, I got 2 brothers that died. They got the shot 52 days before 2008. So we just living with the trauma that you can buy any day. People don't really understand the full impact of trauma on us, on our families. 1 in 4 people in California actually get victim compensation for a victim. Some of these protections for victims don't extend or haven't extended to the family members. There's not enough time. People didn't know about it. We could have got victim impact. I never knew that until you just knew that. I was shot 4 times with an AK-47. Do you remember at that time if they offered you like victim compensation or counseling or any of that? Yeah, I got victims of violent crimes, but it took so long and that was stressful because I was off work. Yeah. It was very stressful because it took so long. It took like
was really done wrong by the police department. The community had told them that told them I was a mentor, an advocate in the community. And they didn't care. They just didn't care about what the community was telling. I told them I didn't know each other. They wrote the report, and I wanted to help us or do whatever. I told them I didn't know. Like that was the answer. I'm shot in my stomach. You asked me questions. Right. You see, on the flip side of that, when they write that stuff in the report, you can't get figures about it. Exactly. Exactly. So it's that's a big issue.
There's a lot of laws on the books for crime victims and survivors. But unfortunately, a lot of our stories and our needs get left out of it because we are not seen as victims. You were 12 when you got shot.
I went home, covered it up, wrapped it up, didn't even say anything. At the time, I would say maybe tougher, but at the same time, now that I know I'm older, maybe more afraid. It's like you feel like you can't escape the streets, so you have to adapt to it.
In other communities, when you're a victim or something happens to you, all the attention comes to you, all the resources come to you. But what I'm hearing you say is, you have a situation where you're a victim, you can't even tell anybody. So there is no way for them to make sure that you get enough services, right? No support.
You just open my eyes. I never thought of myself as like a victim. I just felt like it's part of life. This is what happens. It goes on. I know so many people have been shot, been killed.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Look at my sister. I see you in the mirror. You look so good. You look so good. And I'm proud of you, boss. The biggest boss that I've seen thus far. I love my brother. I didn't even know. I had no idea that services existed. That's why we created our own. Because we weren't offered nothing. No vacation compensation. No, nothing at all. The lack of services contributes to the repetitive cycles of crime because it's never being addressed. And so we left to our own devices to do our own, create our own fake yeah. I feel like every city, every community should have a lighthouse. Like this is a survivor's vision come to life. We come from a space where we're in survival mode. And when I was younger, teenager here in Stockton, I was actually a part of a dating violence relationship where I was given two black eyes and a broken nose, but I was only 18 years old. 15 years later, I was sexually assaulted, and it took LAPD like over 2 months for me to hear from somebody to help me out. And unfortunately, I was the one that had to reach out. Justice system is a one size fits none. We don't have enough options. But two, even if the justice system does provide justice as it's currently structured, that doesn't mean that a victim or survivor gets their needs met or the closure that they deserve. Like somebody can be arrested, prosecuted, convicted, and a survivor will still go through hell and not have a place to live, not be able to go to work. So there's a big misunderstanding, misconception about who we are, what we need, and what it takes for us to access. Sean deserves to be here like anyone else. We've made all these sacrifices day to day to humanize Sean because we know how the system is. We know how they'll just run with what happened on June 2nd and forever define it that way. Because it's that they don't even see us as an opportunity for victims compensation like SB 299. Families affected by police violence aren't even seen as survivors or we're victims at that.
Good morning. The Public Safety Committee meeting is called to order. Mr. Brian Sherman with the Oversight Sheriff Association and Police Officers Association all currently have an opposed position on SB 299. Persons who, due to their own misconduct, elicit the law enforcement response should not be provided taxpayer funds as a result of any injury that should occur. These persons are not crime victims.
honestly, community is what has supported us since day one. And I think we're fortunate enough to have the community that Sean had in our community show up for us. Been here for us. And it sucks sometimes to hear that other families didn't have a community when they lost their loved one. Me and Ashley have put school and 9 to 5 jobs aside. There's no funding for families to continue this journey. So for us, we've taken a lot of sacrifices. Too much of safety and justice is defined by systems and other people. When there's conflict in our neighborhood, all you only option you have is to call the police if there's a safety issue. But to me, safety doesn't rely on the system. Safety relies on people. People should get to define it, and people should have the resources at their disposal to be able to do that, to make it real. It's important to recognize that our people do have the capacity. We've been doing this. Many of these programs are underfunded, especially if they're survival net, community net. They're not funded the same way. A lot of times these people think that they're doing that, but they're not rooted or tapped into people that have the relationships with the community, so they still miss it. I'm actually working on some stuff to try and get the right people in the right places and to have those conversations so that our young people can walk around in their own community and be safe. The people who have been discarded and disregarded by the system are the ones who are responding to the crisis of the enlightenment. They're the same people who showed up in the middle of the pandemic to feed their communities. They're the same people that are showing up for parents and family members after a shooting in their community, or when someone is hurt or taken from their family members. They're the ones that do show up. All of the state survivors, especially communities of color, have been starting organizations out of their own pockets in their living room to address violence in their communities. The majority of these organizations don't have the support, government funding, or staff access to continue doing the work that they're doing. We're supporting organizations like Us for Us, an organization on the ground with young people who have been impacted by the system, who have also lost more people than they could count to violence in the streets, and are trying to find a way to save their communities every single day.
I motivate individuals that are like myself, God strong individuals who are willing to put themselves on the line to get back to the community, whether it be community cleanup, feeding the homeless. I'm giving them something, to love on. That's going to give them something back. Give them a purpose for real.
We're supporting organizations like Kelly's Elders up in Stockton, California, an organization that was started by a man who lost his sister to insulin disease and was concerned about the needs of her children and all children who are victims of violence.
It's just comforting. See kids take off their shoes and relax and just be able to be themselves. I just want to help make sure these kids are all right. That's our future, so we gotta invest in it.
What I love about Kelly's Elders is that you do focus on the kids because a lot of times that gets left out. There's so much attention on the adults that have to carry the responsibility, the surviving family members, but the children often get left out of that. And that trauma of just loss, especially when it's violent or there's a crime, is a lot. And it impacts kids in ways that we don't even really understand, even though we say we do, and for life. We're funding organizations like LAUDA down in East LA, an organization that was started in the aftermath of the death of women who left 4 children behind. Responding to the needs of Latino survivors who have language barriers and never get represented in conversations around public safety. What do you think we need in order for our communities to feel safe and whole? More help, but not whole police like other organizations, like Laura. People who've been there. Yeah, I understand. I mean, not even the victim and their families are getting the mental wellness. I speak on that. I can't get those resources, for them instantly. And how hard is it for someone that doesn't speak the language? And you start seeing this online, like, something's wrong. The resources should go to our community. And they're not. There should be services here. So that's how I already told. 12 years old, you need to go to second grade. How did that affect you and your family?
Yeah, I feel like some of the hardest work out. I almost got killed up So that's something that they deposited into my life. When did I really have to do it? You were 12 years old when it happened. You remember a lot of doing that for you. I'm honoring my brother's death once a year. The honor his death and the victims around that area, the Donano family. Your papers on social for healing and healing. As a survivor myself, it's a really positive part to provide a therapy, counseling, healing. That's it. It should be part of the very package for a human being. We're now here. We're not here and we're creating a movement that needs to be elevated. Our new public safety solutions have to include survivor-led strategies. We're organizing and bringing thousands of survivors together across the state of California and the organizations that they need. We're building a movement so that we can redefine public safety. Our voices need to be in the front of this conversation. We're in the streets taking guns out of people's hands and feeding our people. We're in the Capitol having conversations about legislation. Public officials should be looking to and funding survivor-led organizations, no matter what's going on politically. They've been doing this work with no support. They need the support to continue to serve our community. There's no such thing as a one-man army. We need each other. We all need each other. A lot of times, when something happens to us, it's almost as if the system says, "This is who you are, so deal with the consequences of who you are." And we come back into the space and say, "No, this is who we are. We're going the road." So we pull another people up. Got civilians, we got murders and murder victims, and other people that suffer losses in the community. Pushing peace now, and today the longest procession we have is like a 7-mile procession when we shut LA down, where when we push that love and they felt that love, it changed the whole atmosphere. This movement is for mamas and grandmamas. This movement is for the gunshot victims. This movement is for the human trafficking and DV victims. This movement is for families and people who are impacted by police violence. This movement is for the people who never got the room to see themselves as survivors. This movement is for people who took the darkest, most horrific thing that ever happened to them in their lives and turned it into purpose. This movement is for people like me who can't change what happened to them, but want to make sure that it happens to everybody. I'm really grateful that that's the only way that decided to do it. We are in Sunnydale Housing Development. This is one of the 4 biggest housing developments in San Francisco. Every day is beautiful. I've been doing this for how many years? My mother just wanted to keep sharing the resources and making sure that everybody in the community knew what resources in the community. So we used that as a plateau for Family Day. When I came back from college, I just added to it. Every time something happens, we all got to relive it. Right. But I think that's why a day like this is so important. Some people just see it as a community event, but it's deeper than that. Yeah. I see a lot of hope. I see a lot of celebration. That's what we got to keep pushing. I know that you are alone. So many of us out here that are working through and processing what happened to us, what happened to our families, what happened to our communities, and we need each other. So, yeah.
Thank you all who tuned in. I know the film is powerful to watch. I appreciate you sticking around. And I know that there's a closing exercise, and we also have food for you all and a group photo to take. So we'll start to wrap it up now. Um, Mama Clark, did you want to close it out? Thank you. Encourage you to join our membership. I have a QR code over here to the right. If you're not signed up, please sign up.
Okay, so everyone, thank you for allowing us yet again to be a part of this with you, for sharing these emotions with you. I seen a brother get emotional. I got emotional too watching that movie. You know, that's our life, right? That today, right, with our voice, we can choose to speak out. We can turn our pain into purpose, right? And so with that, I don't want us to leave feeling heavy and emotionally down, right? We want to be a light. We want to edify and lift one another up. We're going to do just a couple of breathing exercises to get rid of the negative energy or the sad energy and inhale the promise and the future and the hope, right? So we're just going to take 3 deep breaths. Do that with me, please. In and out, in through your nose and out through your mouth. Okay, now we're gonna do what I call my Mariah Carey, right? We're gonna shake it off. Okay? And I want to play the song, but I ain't got it. So we're gonna shake it off till my body ain't and I'm gonna listen, I gotta shake, 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 shake it off. Shake, 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 shake it off. Okay, so we feel a little bit better now. We feel lighter. Yeah, we feel good. And we are now encouraged, as my son Sabate Clark, the founder of Iron Sac Foundation, always says, I say, if you're not a part of the solution, you're part of the problem. So today, we're all a part of the solution. Today, we are proud of ourselves and each other. Today, we choose to make a difference. And so, also, I want to say that we remember that we need an actionable item. So we heard what we can do. We can check on one another in our community. We can become a village again. Number 2, we can use our power to vote and change things because legislation is legacy on paper, okay? And that's what it's about, right? And number 3, last but not least, everybody can love everybody. It's a choice. And so be blessed.
So to close out, the very last of the closing, I think Mama Clark and all these wonderful speakers that we've had before me have pretty much said it all. I just will reiterate all of the things Mama Clark said. In Sacramento organizations, I'm issuing you a challenge right now.
Come on.
We have such common goals. There is no reason in this world that we can't get together and tackle these problems and get it done. We gotta stop this infighting, this crab in a barrel mentality. Let's work together. Let's be the change that we want to see. I know that we can do this. I know Sacramento. I've been here my whole life. I was mad at y'all for a little while after my baby died, but I'm back. And I love my city and I want to see us better. Everybody have a good Yes, please. Yes. Yeah, you guys want the Capitol? It is, huh?
Yes. So I gave you my card.
You did. I will email.
You can text me.
Okay.
Text
Okay.
me the number.
So your baby calling you.
Grandma in there. Yeah, let's get in there. Good.
You're gonna hold it open for me and I'll get the church.
Daisy. Thank you all. Thank you all for joining. Mama Clark out. Yes, Mom. Say hi to the people, Mama. Say hi to the people. There go Grandma Thompson, Blessed Child Association.
Meeting is Monday. 6 to 8.
Oh, look at all the comments. Yes, look.
Yeah.
A lot of comments. Good.